Hello again, I'm Kevin Seal. This is 1813 Fair Warning. I am joined by the great Michael Lindsay, of course, from Lindsay and Parsons, and the great Jeff Lewis, Republican extraordinaire. Great to see you guys.
Good to see you.
We appreciate you being here. Jobless claims are at 6.6 million. The economy is crashing as we speak. Will America recover? Jeff, we start with you.
Absolutely, America's going to recover from this. I think the actions that have been taken by administration are, to this point, spot on as far as keeping the economy stable. We know we're in for a rough hit. We're going to have a bad second quarter. It's going to pick up probably by the third quarter, assuming that we can, this stabilizes on the trend line and we're able to get everyone back to work, say by, mid-May.
Michael Lindsay, 1 in 1,000 Americans are infected with the disease. Has the president handled it like a maestro?
He's handled it like Nero.
Okay.
While Rome burned. And I would direct anybody's attention to a great article in Texas Monthly about HEB and how our little local grocery store here in Texas managed to get out ahead of the virus, line up their supply chains. Meanwhile, back at the ranch and at the hospital, we don't have masks, we don't have ventilators, we don't have protective equipment for our people. This is a train wreck.
Jeff, speak to that because, yes, there are new reports today that the PPEs are running out nationwide.
I would like to address what Mike said directly in terms of the negativity that's come out of the left during this. What we have seen from the media is nothing more than a partisan attempt to derail the president in the middle of a crisis, which not only I think is un-American, I consider to be foolish. Now, what we have seen at this point is the American people's willingness to rally behind the president, pending him showing results. You're going to see mistakes. He may never admit them because he's not the type that admits mistakes on TV. Okay, you'll never see that happen. However, shock. I mean, you don't know that 3.5 years to his presidency. I mean, you ain't got to figure that out. But what you're seeing from the American people is they're appreciating his engagement. I mean, you're seeing we were almost at 2-a-day press conferences was with him here for a while. You're getting daily press briefings where he's it's not being fielded out. It's him. And I tell you what, not even speaking about the president. What I found most reassuring during this crisis is every time Mike Pence steps that podium, I literally relax. I mean, this guy has been in charge and has been leading the federal response to it hands down. Now, I said federal response. What we have seen some problems are on the state responses, like in the state of New York, where they have not been prepared for the crisis.
I suppose things always go wrong regardless of who is in the White House in a situation like a virus, but do you assign credibility to the administration for what it's done so far?
Well, first of all, I appreciate Jeff's assessment that we're never going to hear an apology from this president, and 1,000 Americans died yesterday. It's a little bit late to say, forget it, I'm sorry. This isn't a Rosanna Dana episode from Saturday Night Live. Our citizens are dying. We're not prepared. We've had months to get ready for this, and this is truly a horrible crisis.
But what do you think he should have done?
On that, I'll push back a little bit. We have not had months to get ready for this.
We have HEB started buying groceries and talking to their Chinese counterparts the first week in January. HEB's been talking to Italy about how to ramp up its supply chain to get food into our people, into our stores.
So what about the Chinese response was accurate?
The Chinese response?
It's totally irrelevant what the Chinese said or what the Chinese didn't say or how big of liars they are. This pandemic's been coming and nobody's paying attention. This isn't one of these, it's going to go away here in a day or three. I'm feeling like we're going to fire up the churches for Easter service. The president has been wrong. He's been incorrect. He's been misleading. He's been an idiot in terms of being
Jeff?
Right. I totally get that, we were busy in January due to impeachment proceedings, which, the money for that could have been spent, towards virus. But, that notwithstanding, what I would like to address is something, Michael, you just brought up. What we've seen in the States is that if you correlate the population density of our states the states that are most populated density. First is actually New Jersey and then New York. If you look at the top 5 states and top population density, they're also in the top 10 for cases and deaths per million people. So what you're seeing, is Mike, it's not just what's going on, on the federal end. I mean, there's a lot of state correlation. What states are more at risk to pandemic scenarios, okay? We know full well that cities like New Orleans, which are woefully unprepared for pretty much any disaster, to get right down to it, read in 2005. But a lot of it comes down to how the states are geared towards what their weaknesses are. I mean, major population centers are woefully unprepared for these sorts of things by almost their very definition. That's why you're seeing such a disparity between rural America and urban America in this crisis.
Okay, well, let's bring it back home. Guys, we're actually starting to see stops here in Beaumont, and I'm sure across Southeast Texas, traffic stops, and evidently the enforcement has been stepped up pretty dramatically to keep people indoors. Do you agree with the local response in terms of enforcement, potential for fines, that kind of thing?
I'm gonna jump out here first of all and say that locally, I think our local people have done a fabulous job. I think they've been out ahead of this. I think we need to compliment them and congratulate them. I do think the governor has been woefully inadequate in providing any leadership. And Jeff, back to what you said, I think you had a great point.
Why? Expand on Abbott. Why has the governor failed?
You've got to tell me where I was right. Hey, let him do that first.
Hang on to that. If locally we're supposed to be out ahead of this situation, if locally on a statewide basis we're supposed to be caring for our people, how come our local hospitals cannot tell us how many ICU beds they have or ventilators they have? I mean, I find this extremely disturbing that we've got 50, 60 cases in this area and nobody knows how many ICU beds we have. So that's just one local example in one small area.
But are you saying Governor Abbott has failed in that regard?
Oh, I think the governor, we're either going to find out in the next month that Texans are absolutely the smartest, healthiest people in the world and not getting infected, or we're getting ready to get run over by a train wreck. We'll see which one it is.
In terms of the testing.
Texas has absolutely lagged behind the country. If we'd shut this state down 2 weeks ago, we'd be ready to go back to work.
Jeff, move to your left and tell us more.
Well, he just said that, we're lagging behind the country. And one of the nice things about getting to do this from the house here in my office, I'm looking right now at the data that's coming out of Texas, and we're actually we are ranked 7th fewest cases per million people and in deaths in the nation. Now, we're doing that in face of having one of the highest populations of the country, which I find fascinating, Mike, that we're doing such a horrible job and you're willing to blame it to the governor, but yet we're actually doing quite well in our numbers.
I agree with you. It's an interesting situation. I don't think we're testing in Texas. I think the numbers are higher than that. But who knows? At the end of the day, maybe we're just the smartest, healthiest people in the world. If so, I'm all for that.
I think that it's not that Texans are any much smarter than anyone else, but we have been largely disciplined up to this point because Texans, by and large, know how to self-subsist and know how to not be dependent on a federal government for its local responses. And I think that's what the essence of conservatism is, if you actually want to get back to philosophy. I have tried to stay very much away from the partisan bickering on this. We can talk about plenty about what candidate isn't going to be the worst option for 2020, but by and large, I think this is not a time for assessing partisan blame the way Michael has done at this point. I'm a little bit disappointed in that. Now, that saying, you mentioned a minute ago, Michael, about churches and assembly, and I think one of the things the governor did properly in at least the result was to actually come out in support of the ability of churches to self-congregate. That is something the First Amendment does not allow prohibited.
Get together and lock the doors.
Say again.
Okay, I mean,
Mike?
Everybody ought to go to church and just lock the doors.
Lock the doors.
My grandfather's a pastor at a local congregation here, the Baptist Church here, and they're streaming the services. They're doing what they can to get around this and below the federal guidelines and the recommendations based on health. But what it comes down to is the United States Constitution gives us the express written authority to be the only arbiter of our self-determination for freedom of religion and freedom of assembly. Don't forget that part of it. So if we want to get out in public, we have the God-given right to, and the federal government has absolutely no authority to say we can't.
Well, okay.
That being said, we can offer guidelines of what, hey, this isn't prudent, but in the end, the American people have to be the best judgment of their own decision-making. Do people make bad decisions? Heck, yes. But in the end, the government does not have the ability to say you cannot have church services.
You're right, but we all need to thank the Pope for closing the churches. It was a good decision. It was the right decision. It's saving lives, and you don't have a right to go to church and infect and kill people. I would say that I fear the day is coming when you can pray to God and the federal government will not be here to help our people. We're dying around the country, and we're just getting started.
It's an extraordinary conversation. What a societal shift for us.
It's not the apocalypse, Mike. There are worse diseases out there than this one that can wipe us out much faster.
Unlike anything I've seen as far as the impact and ramification on our society, I'll tell you, it's amazing. And we always learn something new from you. Very intelligent gentlemen. Thank you so much.
I would just like to express out, there's a lot of people that are dying and sick from other diseases other than this virus. And when you have the spread of this kind of virus, it does put the strain on those other services as well. A friend of mine lost his wife last night to cancer, 39 years old, and it's just a horrible thing to see them go through this sort of thing. Now, that may have happened regardless of this outbreak, probably would if she was terminal, but when you look at the stress that's put on the other systems, it is in our best interest to not stress the medical system by unnecessarily exposing yourself to this virus. So make no mistake, I am not condoning any social activity on this, but that does not necessarily mean we don't have the right to do it.
You guys are great. I appreciate you gentlemen very much. We'll see you guys next time on 1813 Fair Warning.
Welcome to the all-new Crazy Cajun restaurant in Beaumont with new staff, new entertainment, and a brand new menu. The all-new Crazy Cajun, 2310 North 11th in Beaumont. A new twist on Cajun.
Attention business owners, listen, navigating the health insurance world can be very challenging. Let it be simple with my friends here at Insure Life.
Let us make health insurance shopping for your employees simple. Give us a call at 409-313-6313.
Well, the next time you need any kind of legal assistance, think Sutton and Jacobs Law Firm, 833-1100. Personal injury, business litigation, general litigation, Sutton and Jacobs, 833-1100. 833-1100. Proud sponsors of Fair Warning, Sutton and Jacobs.
I bet you've never seen a sandwich do yoga before. Introducing the new Papadilla for just $6. Better ingredients, better pizza, better than a sandwich. Papa John's.